So I've got a cat issue at the moment. They're both wanting to get involved. So I'll move them out of the way in a moment. Okay. Echo, do you want to tell everyone what we're doing today? I got a squeaky chair. All right, so today I'm working on the Horror Heroines series of paintings. Oops, paint. Okay, you guys gonna move now? You getting down now? Come on, good girl. Okay. So I make a zine every month, and last year in October, I made the Horror Heroines zine, which was my tribute to iconic final girls. And I'll just run and grab the zine so I can show you what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, so this was like, oh, my tripod is really giving me a lot of grief at the moment. Oh, it's gonna keep going. Okay, I'm gonna just adjust this. Sorry. Okay, that's better. All right, so this is the zine that I published last year, all about the horror. Oh, it's still doing it. All right, hopefully this works. All right, this is the Horror Heroines. Yeah, so I had this idea for this painting series for ages because I really like to capture emotion. That's what I tried to capture with my photography when I was a live music photographer. And I wanted to see if I could capture big emotions in painting, and I figured the best way to do that was with horror, because where else is big emotion on screen but in horror movies? So I painted this series last year and wrote my critiques about the films and my thoughts about the movies and the heroines themselves. I wanted to pay tribute to the women who experienced the worst of everything and survived. And I really, really love the way this zine turned out. It's turned out to be my most popular zine that I've ever published. This is actually the last copy. So I'm going to have to get some more printed, I think, especially with the second one coming out soon. So this was the full series of acrylic paintings that I did last year, and I just photographed them and then got them file ready to print. So yeah, that was the zine volume 1 from October last year, and now I'm working on the paintings for volume 2. It's definitely been one of my favorite projects to work on. And I've got one painting finished so far. This is Vicky from Hounds of Love. So major spoilers ahead if you haven't seen any of the films that I'm featuring. These are all women who survived. So yeah, spoilers ahead. Now, what I like to do, especially when I've got a whole series to work on, it's something that's called batching. And I got this idea from an artist on YouTube, and I cannot remember her name from the top of my head, but if I find out what it is, I will link that specific video in the description box when I locate it afterwards. So basically what it is with batching is that you sort of, instead of having 12 blank pieces in front of you and feeling overwhelmed by that and having sort of all these things to complete, you do bits at a time. So for instance, I've done all my sketches. So my sketches are all done. That goes that way. I wonder if you can recognize any of them. This one I'm going to redo because their face is too big. And this one, I just watched the film and got the reference photos last night, so I haven't done that one yet. But basically, yeah, with batching, you do all of the sketching. So the sketching's all done. So it's sort of less overwhelming because you've already started all of it. And then what you can do is like do all the backgrounds. So just when you have time, because you might not have time to sit down and do a complete painting, but you can find a time to just sort of throw a background in. So you can do like a batch of backgrounds. And I tend to want to take a break when I'm painting. I don't really like to do it all in one go. So I thought this would be perfect to do on the live stream because I'm probably not going to do a complete painting, but I've already sort of started batching by doing one pass of flat color on little Carol Ann from Poltergeist. And generally what I'll do, like these are sort of the stages of painting. Oh, who are we going to do today? Actually, we might do... I'm going to do this one. So we'll start with the sketch. I'll go in and do one session of just like basic flat color, just sort of blocking in shapes so I know where everything needs to go. And then I'll sort of start sketching in some details with the paint. Then the next session, I'll put in more detail. So I'll really start building up the face and the hair. So she's almost completed. And then the final session is just those finishing touches. So all the details, pop a little signature on, and this one's complete. So today I'm going to start working on this one. Now this is Hunter Schafer from the movie Cuckoo. I just watched this last week, absolutely loved it. It was so unhinged. And so I'm going to block in the shapes so it'll look like this, and then I'm going to stop, and then we'll work on some more of the details on this one. And she's almost finished. She just needs some finishing touches on the face. So I'm hoping to get, I'll definitely get this one finished today, maybe even Carol Ann, and we'll get this one the first half of it done. All right, so that's me done yapping. Let's start painting. Excuse me. Now I'm using the Zorn palette, which is my absolute favorite for portraits. It is titanium white, vermilion, yellow ochre, ivory black. I also do sometimes add in a Payne's grey just for the background, because it's sort of a touch more blue than a black. So I'd like to have a bit of Payne's grey there in my palette as well. And with Carol Ann here, I have actually added a blue in because it's just so sort of crucial, especially to her eye colour. Like you can get quite blue tones with an ivory black because it's a cool black. But I really did want this to have an actual blue paint in the palette. So this one is a cerulean blue, so I've just added that to the palette just for Carol Ann. But working in a limited color palette, especially when you're doing a series, it makes everything look cohesive, because even though like all the colors are quite different, it's still using the same palette, so it still looks cohesive. Okay, so So we'll put these two ladies aside. And we'll start painting Hunter. Now, I would love to know if you've seen Cuckoo, because it got quite different reactions. I think people either loved it or hated it. It's weird. I feel like it could have pushed the weirdness even further. I would have liked him to go like fully committed to the bizarreness of it all. I was going to pull up my reference. And the way I get reference for anytime I'm working on film portraits specifically, I don't like to use standard stock still images because I feel like they're the ones that everyone uses for reference. I like to actually watch a film, take photos of the screen as I'm watching it, and then go through, and then I can pick from scenes that really resonate with me or moments in the movie that I really love or that I want to feature, rather than using, you know, the same image that everyone's going to use for reference if they just Google search it. I think that's what makes my portraits a little different. And it also makes me like connect more personally with them. I think Hunter is an absolute goddess, and I want to see her in every horror movie. I think she was so good in this movie, and I think even if people didn't love the movie, everyone agreed that her performance was like incredible. I'm just going to block in my skin tones. Add in a little black if you want to deepen it up a bit. Add shadow. Cat fur everywhere. This is the easy part, just blocking in all the base colours. Eyebrows. And like I said at the start, I'll probably stop working on this particular one when I've got just the bulk of the block colours down. And then we'll start putting the details in the other paintings that I've already started. It feels so nice to have the brushes out again. I feel like I've been using just markers for so long now because they're just so quick and easy, and I don't have to worry about the cats jumping up on the desk and drinking the paint water or running through the paint, which they often do. All right, let's give her some eyeballs. Good morning. How are you? Good. Good. I'm good. I feel like I haven't been sleeping well, but had a nice sleep in this morning, which was good. Just having a slow start. Do you watch horror movies? I'm wondering if you've seen any of these. Echo's got fur everywhere. All right, I'm just going to pop in a little bit of her. Used to when I was a kid. Yeah, I was the same. I used to watch pretty much only horror movies when I was in high school. Absolutely loved them. And then I really took a break from it. I think, when you become an adult and then like the real life horrors you become aware of, and it's not so entertaining anymore. But I feel like horror movies are having a bit of a renaissance at the moment, and there's been so many amazing ones the last few years. I've been back into it. This is Hunter Schafer from Cuckoo, and I just watched Cuckoo a few nights ago, and it was so interesting. All the classics, Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Alien Curry. Yeah, they're amazing. This is our little queen from Poltergeist you might recognise, Carol Ann. But the others are all pretty new. You're Next, Hounds of Love. Cuckoo was really interesting. It was very weird. I feel like it could have been even more weird. Yeah, Poltergeist was amazing. So, so good. I had to, like, what an icon. So I'm going to finish her today. I was saying when I first started coming on stream, I like to do sort of batching where you either like do all your backgrounds, and so you have things almost like you don't have to start with a brand new painting every time, because sometimes you don't have time to just sit down and complete the whole painting. So what I'll do is I'll make sure like all of my sketches are done. So I've got all my sketches done. So anytime I can sit down and then just start. And you can either like just put all your backgrounds in. So then you at least started, and then every time you've got like a little bit of time, you can just go in and sort of pick up, do all the backgrounds, or like block in all just the basic shapes, which is what I'm doing here with this one. And then once I've finished just blocking in just like the basic parts of where I need everything to go, I'll put that one down and then just start adding in the details. So it's less intimidating than having to do like a full, like sit down and finish a painting, because who has time for that? Who can do that? Not me. Not me. But this way, like, I feel like I'm achieving a lot because I've got like 4 now, like, and only one is fully finished. Like, this is finished. But having 4 in various stages of completion feels a lot better than having to have 11 to finish, because I've got to do 12 altogether. I don't know. It's just a little way to trick your mind into thinking that you don't have as much to do. Yeah, I saw, and I can't remember her name, but I saw an artist on YouTube make a video about it, and it just, I was like, this is the thing that I needed to hear. Do batching. Because I can't sit down and finish like 5 portraits, but I can sit down and sketch, 11. Or I can sit down and just paint all the backgrounds. And that's why it's been nice sort of taking a break from making like full-length YouTube videos, because I just don't have the time. Like, I would have to finish a full piece in one day to have the video edited and put together, because that takes a whole other day, and like, I just don't have the time to do it at the moment. But then I find live streams good because I'll actually sit here and get it done, rather than just doing a little bit, jumping on my phone for an hour, doing a little bit more. Like, I'll get more done during a live stream than I would if I was just sitting here to my own devices. And it's good on YouTube too, because the video will stay up on the channel. So it's all like, okay, so there is a video. Not that everyone's going to go back and like rewatch it, but you can. Yeah, especially with TikTok. I love that app. It's just so fun, but I'll lose hours. Are you working on anything at the moment, Layla? Yeah, well, you know, the Americans have a whole different, they're getting a whole different app. Like, it's so weird. Like, what they're going to be able to access is going to be different to what everyone in the rest of the world will be able to access. And that's just real spooky. Jigsaws and audiobooks. That sounds like a good time. Have you listened to anything good lately? Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah, me too. It's so interesting. All right, I'm just going to roughly put in a background and then we'll start doing some details on Carolyn. I do. I'm a very slow reader. So I set myself a goal of reading 12 books this year, so one a month, which doesn't feel like much at all, but I am on track to getting that done, so that's good. I just feel like it's such a luxury to just sit down with a book for a couple of hours. I love reading. Hi, Evie. Her fluffy tail. All right, she's gonna have a drink. All right, I'm gonna leave this here for now. I've got my basics blocked in, so then the next time I pick this up, I'll just pop in some, I'll start working on more detail, but I'm pretty happy with where that's at so far. I feel like that does look like Hunter. Yeah, me too. I'm the same. If I've got like painting to do, then audiobooks are amazing because yeah, I can still listen while I'm working. Yeah, love them. All right, now let's get some details on little Carol Ann. Find my reference. I'm just trying to find my reference. I don't know where I put it. There it is. What are you doing, Evie? What are you doing? You move out of the way, sweet girl. Oh, Evie's up. Evie's up. Evie wants a cuddle. Evie wants a cuddle. Yeah, she's Evie's up on my shoulder, which is just real convenient, real helpful. She's purring right in my ear. Like I'm actually holding her with my right arm, holding her up. You little gremlin. Oh, that's her smooching the camera. Yeah, it's hard. I have to keep an eye on it at all times because they'll just like jump up on the desk. That's why if Evie's in my arms, like I know at least then she's not in my palette. But she keeps... No, she heard us. You right, babe? I'm going to get your tail out of my painting. What are you doing? Evie? Evie? What are you doing? Oh, now you're knocking everything over. Come on, keep going. All right, she's down. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Oh, cute. That was so fun to make. I actually drew her again because like she's just got such an amazing face. I did that in my sketchbook. There's just so many good reference photos of her. Oh yeah, I'd never heard of them. It's such a cool idea. Time frame to get all of these done. Well, these are for the October zine, so I like to get all of the files into the printer by the middle of the month. So ideally, I would love to have these done like at the end of the first week of October, because then I've still got to do all the writing, which is less time consuming than the portraits. But I feel good about it. I've just got to make sure that on my days off, I really like sit down and work on them. But I've watched all the movies. I've watched 12 movies. I've got 12 sketches done, and I've got the first 4 sort of in the process of being finished. Well, I've got 1 finished, but I've got 3 almost finished. I don't know, it's a lot, but I'm not really doing anything else at the moment, so I feel good. Because I outsource the printing now, and it used to only take a week to get printing done, but it's really been pushed out to like over 2 weeks, which is why the zines have always been late the last few months. And it's really frustrating, but I noticed that they've added an option you can pay extra to get them done faster, which is kind of annoying because it always used to just be automatically you could get them done quicker. So I don't know. I like to have, especially with the horror one, like I would like people to have this before Halloween, so you could maybe use this as a watch list for spooky movies. But we'll see. We'll see. The first one was really successful, like in my shop and where I sell it. So yeah, so I maybe could just like push it through, pay the extra this month, but I'll see. When you go to upload the files, it gives you an estimated time of when you'll receive it. So if it looks like it's going to be like too late, I might just like pay the extra just this 1 month and get this one out quicker. And I think with these ones specifically, because they're final girls, like, you know, they're going to survive. So it's not as brutal to watch. Yeah, I know it does suck. But you know, if I just have to do it, because this one really would be better if it was out because of the time frame of Halloween. That's the only reason I would consider it. I've sort of managed to start working a little bit more in advance. So I've got them back because like the September issue, I think that's being delivered tomorrow. So that's the first time in a couple of months where it's actually gotten to me on time, because I initially wanted to have them sent out at the end of the month, like the last week of the month. I used to print at home, but it's just with ink costs and just like the numbness in my hand, it's just easier to get the main one printed elsewhere. And then I just print the minis and all that other stuff at home myself. So I'm not having to do everything. And they do a really good job. Like the print quality is amazing. But yeah, I had gotten myself into a routine where I didn't have to rush it because I knew it would only take a week to print, but now it's like over 2 weeks. So just adjusting to that because I don't have all the time in the world or just all the ability to just sit down and work every moment of every day. That's taken a bit of getting used to. Yeah, job's going good. It's going good. Um, we've been really busy. We've had a few people leave. So it's just made our workload increase. But there's new people in training at the moment, so we've just got one more week until they're out with us. So can't wait. Can't wait for them to start. But yeah, it's good. They've been so amazing with all my health stuff and really supportive and understanding, which I'm super grateful for because I know not every workplace is like that, especially because I'm like new. Like I literally got the job the same week that I had my first MRI, so it sort of all happened at the same time, um, which has been a lot in itself, juggling everything all at once. But now that like I've settled into work and I've also, starting to get somewhere with my treatment, it's a lot better. I know you know what that's like. Yeah, I know. I'm real lucky. I'm real lucky. Because they could have easily have just said, you know what? Nah, too hard. Because I've literally just started. And we're casual. So yeah, I'm lucky. I don't have to work full time. Yeah, it's good. And it's close to home too. Because just about everything when I was job hunting was in the city, and I'm like, I cannot do that commute every day. Caroline. What are you doing down there, Evie? Moorabuk to Southern Cross. Oh, far out, yeah. No thanks. No, thank you. I worked in the city for years and years and years, like 20 years ago, but that's just not for me anymore. No thanks. I like being home in 15 minutes. Do you ever buy convenience colours or just mix everything? You know what? I love colour, so I do buy the colours, but I've found since working with the Zorn palette to do my portraits, that's just made everything so much easier. So I just use the Zorn for all my portraits, which is white, vermilion, yellow, ochre, ivory black. I add in a Payne's grey just because I like that sort of really deep blue that it adds. So I'll use that minimally and mostly in the backgrounds. Like that's Payne's grey in the background for this one. And then I'm obsessed with neon colors. So I have like Holbein Luminous Red is my favorite color on earth. I'm obsessed with that color. But I find with the Zorn palette for portraits, it really, really works for me because I can do pretty much every skin tone with only those 4 colors. And it's just made the process like faster and easier for me. So I tend to start with that and then just sort of add in some extras. So I did add blue to this one because Like it had to be, I felt like this had to be accurate to what she's actually wearing, and her eyes really did need to be this like light icy blue. But yeah, I find like I love color and I'll go to the art shop and I'll buy paints, but then I get overwhelmed by having too much choice. And then I end up with things that I don't use. And then I go to the art shop and then I buy more paint. And then it's just a cycle. So like I'm trying to be really aware of that. But yeah, I could pull open my paint drawer and there's just so much paint in there. And I'm like, but I might need it one day. One day I might really need that color. But yeah, the Zorn palette really changed the game for me. Love it. And I was reading about Caravaggio's palette. His was very similar to the Zorn, but it had a few extra shades, and I wanted to give that a try one day. I'll show you. Oh, there it is. So these are the portraits I did last year. And this was all with the Zorn. But I'll show you, like, you can get really deep skin tones with it, as well as like, you know, really light. I love it. It's so good. I did this whole thing with the Zorn palette. And then added a red, obviously for the blood. Yeah, he's so interesting. These tiny little brushes. Look at the bristle. There's like hardly anything there. When I was at art school, I only ever did really big paintings. It's funny now doing these really detailed pieces. I never thought I'd be doing this. Hi, Evie. What are you doing? Now, I might just, I feel like her face is almost done. I just got to do some more detail in the hair, finish the background, do her clothing. I might just put that aside for a minute and finish this one. Okay, so this one I'm going to need to get another colour out, I think. I need to get that red. Because she has a bloody face. I don't actually. I don't struggle with that blue. Like I said, I do usually have a Payne's grey on hand, which gives me enough of a blue tone. It's funny because I never used to use black at all. And now I'm using it because it's in the Zorn. I actually get really overwhelmed with blues because there's so many different kinds. And I find I don't really need it for portraits. But then in saying that, when I'm using acrylic paint markers, I love to use blue in my portraits. So I don't know. It's different. Don't know if any of that makes sense. because it was a mixing colour. Yeah. I think because it's a pretty desaturated palette and the ivory black is quite cool, that it works for me. Like, it's definitely not something that you can use for landscapes. Which is fine for me because I very rarely do landscapes. The only time I do traditional landscape is on. Yeah, that's the like, I would never be drawing flowers otherwise if it wasn't for the scribble brigades. I would never, ever, ever, like, I find them so hard. But I don't know, there's just something about the way that Sophie explains everything. It just makes me feel like I can do it in that moment, but I've never once sat down on my own and continued that and tried to do a landscape. I want to get out and do some plein air painting, but I don't know how that's going to go. But I want to give it a try. There's just some beautiful spots around where I live, so I want to at least give it a shot. say that is her finished. All right, 2 down, 10 to go. So they're done. Caroline is almost done. I've just got to finish off her hair, her clothes, background. And we've made a good start on this one. So I think I'm going to call it finished for now because I've been here for an hour and a half and that has gone really, really fast. But I might take a break. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. I feel like I got a lot done, so thank you. And I hope you look forward to getting the zine, because I have a lot to say about all of the movies that I've chosen this time. I think I could honestly make this an every October issue because I've got so much to say about so many films, especially in the horror genre. I've got Maxine, Revenge, Hellraiser, Midsummer, Terminator 2. This is going to be Night of the Living Dead 1990. The Descent. She's going to be my centerfold because she lies vertically. Horizontally, sorry. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And yeah, that's it. So I try to have a bit of diversity in here and movies that span different eras. So there's something for everyone in there. Yeah, and I'm really happy with the selection that I made this year. And I feel like I want to watch Poltergeist again now. Even though I just watched it recently. But it's just so good. It's got everything. And she was amazing. And it's really sad, like the actress who played Carol Ann, Heather O'Rourke, it's just really sad what happened to her real life story. It's very tragic. All right, thanks for hanging out again. I'll probably be live again sometime, maybe even Wednesday, to do some more, because I got Wednesday off. I might just pop in spur of the moment and do some on live as well. So I might see you then. Bye.